Hey guys, welcome to Idiot in a Garage CNY. This is Dan. I'm here with you today doing a rebuild of a carburetor off my 1997 Seadoo XP 800. So as you see here, I'm just fast forwarding through taking off all these gas lines. The carburetors came off of a jet ski that still had all the gray lines on it. So in a little bit I'll show you the green goo that is well known for why these jet skis all need to have their gray lines removed. It's pretty gross. It gets into your carburetor, gums it all up. So doing a rebuild here, blowing everything out. See, you got the green goo on there. It's also inside of all the hose lines. Really nasty stuff. If you have gray lines in any of your Seadoos, you got to make sure to replace it, and even replace the fuel selector because it gets in there, clogs it all up. Right now I'm taking the bolts out. They're in there pretty good. They're stuck. They're corroded. So got to tap them out. So when I clean them, I'm gonna wire wheel them. Make sure that all the threads are clear. Still removing more of the hoses, taking off the return line. There's this plastic splitter in here. You got to be pretty careful removing it so you don't break the splitter. Definitely not good. You'd have to replace it. So you really don't want to do that. This carburetor happens to have an accelerator pump in it. So I'm disconnecting the accelerator pump lines right now. It's really nice to have that. It's an advanced feature. Makes your jet ski not have that little bit of lag when you hit the throttle, so it should take off a little bit better. Also kind of acts as a primer. You can hit your throttle a couple times to prime the engine. So in a couple seconds here, I'm finally going to get done taking all of the pipes off, and we can get into the actual disassembly. This is the MAG carburetor. They're very similar, so I'm just going to show the disassembly of the MAG Carb, and the PTO Carb is pretty much the same. So I guess I'm really struggling with this little piece of pipe on here. Alright, finally got it off. So here we go. We're going to start disassembling MAG Carb. The reason you see the screwdriver going the wrong direction is because I have my video in selfie mode, so everything is backwards. I am twisting it in the right direction. They're a little bit tough to break free, so you just have to be firm with it. You can see this one I'm not getting, so I actually use a drill, but you have to be very careful if you're going to use the drill, because you don't want to snap the screws or strip them. So nice firm pressure, very little pressure on the trigger, and just enough to break the screw, get it loose. Also, the screwdriver that I'm using, the screws all look like they're Phillips head, but they're actually JIS, which is a foreign Phillips head, and it just so happens that it's slightly different than a Phillips head. So if you try using a Phillips head screwdriver in a lot of these, you'll end up stripping out the screws. So definitely invest in a JIS screwdriver. It'll save you a lot of headaches. So once we get the top off here, we'll see this is where the first diaphragm is. And when you remove these, you want to make sure that if you're planning on reusing any of this stuff, remove them carefully. Don't want to rip them. I'm trying to rebuild these carburetors relatively cheaply, so I don't have to buy a new OEM rebuild kit. They're a little bit pricey. I have some aftermarket kits, but a lot of the parts, especially this diaphragm, don't actually even fit well, and it doesn't have the same level of springiness, I guess. So just testing it, making sure that it's still got some flex to it. So I'm still going to reuse it. You can see that there's some rust and corrosion inside of here, so definitely want to clean that up. You don't want any of the debris in there. I'm going to use a little break off any of these screws too. There's 3 jets in on this carburetor. We have a large jet, medium jet, small jet. They're all made out of like this brass, so it's pretty easy to break them, or at least damage them. So you have to be very careful while you're removing these. So here I'm removing the needle, the seat needle. Take a look, just checking out the point, making sure there's no damage on it. It's still, relatively pointy. So pulled that out, pulled the arm out, and then there's this screw down here that's holding the large jet in. So once I get this out, I can remove the large jet. Very carefully with some needle nose pliers. So I take a look, check the, check out the jet, make sure that the hole is not clogged. You can take a look at it. I usually use a compressor or canned air, blow through the hole, make sure that it's nice and clear. The screw is a little stuck, so I just gave it a little love tap, break it loose. Again, this is the one with a little bit of rust on it, so I'm gonna make sure that I use a wire brush, clear it all off. You don't want to have any of that rust coming loose once you get the carburetor put back together, reclogging everything that you just cleared up. A little bit of corrosion on the back of this plate as well. Clean that up. Again, I took the wire brush to it, get all that rustiness off of there. There is a little rubber gasket down beneath here. Pull that out. I do end up replacing this. You guys will see in the next video. I actually put the PTO carb back together on video, so that'll be the next video that you guys get to see. So I do end up replacing that, but you can probably reuse them. They don't really get too damaged, and as long as they're not crusty, it should be good to go. So here I'm removing the medium-sized jet. Again, just be very careful with the flathead screwdriver, blowing the hole out, making sure that there's nothing inside of it. Then there is a small jet in there. I do decide to get it out of this one, but my smallest screwdriver is just a little bit too big for the hole that it's in. I get it out, but I'm not real excited about it, so I don't end up doing it on the PTO side carb. Just again, blowing some compressed air through the carburetor to clear it out is adequate. I have a compressor that I just blow through all of the gas line connectors and then all the jets, just to make sure that none of the green goo is stuck inside of there. You don't want to get it all put back together and have it still underperform. Now I'm taking out the low speed and high speed screws, taking a look again, just making sure that they're still pointy, there's no damage to them. Make sure that the washers on all rings come out with them. You don't want to have those stuck in there, and then when you try to put new stuff in, they end up stacked on top of it. You can't get the needles all the way down. So again, I'll clean these off, reuse them. I'll just check the springs for the choke throttle, make sure that everything's still moving the way that it's supposed to. These carburetors seem to be in pretty good shape, so I'm pretty excited about that. They should go back together no problem. So this is me going after that small jet that I probably should have just left in there, using a lot of force to get down into that hole. Yeah, just not a great decision on my part to have to even go after that, but I do end up getting it out. Going by. Sorry about that. So again, finally got it out. So now the carburetor is fully disassembled at this point. Or no, we have to do the other side, sorry, pump side. So we have to get the screws out. Again, they're pretty well stuck, so use good pressure. I think I needed to use the drill for any of these, but again, you can. And with the pump, the way that it works is that there's a pulse line in the case of the engine. So a lot of times oil and other crusty stuff will, work its way into the pump. So when I took this apart, there was a lot of just white crud inside of this pump that you'll see. So, making sure that you clean that out pretty well. There is a clear plastic film in here as well that helps with the suction. At least creates the suction for the pump to push fuel through the lines. So you can see here when I take the film off that there's just a lot of corrosion in there. If I would hold it down far enough that it's on camera. There you go. You can see a lot of crap in there. So I end up again using the wire brush, clearing it out nice, clean it up. I do replace the clear film so that the pump's in good working order. So here, taking the next part off. I think about trying to get this O-ring out, but the O-ring seems to be in pretty decent shape, so I just leave it in so I can reuse it. The plastic covers over these valves also to be in good shape, so I don't mess with any of that. I do, again, compressed air blow through and make sure that there's nothing blocking the line here. And the last part of the carburetor, there's a filter here, and this was really, really crusty. So you can see that it is clogged right up. The replacement ones are $3, so I'm buying a couple of those to put in. And I do pull out this O-ring as well. So now the carburetor is completely disassembled, so final step is just to throw it in some carb cleaner. So I have a gallon jug of carb cleaner. I just throw the whole carburetor right into that gallon jug, and I let it sit for 24 hours so that it just has a good amount of time to break up anything that is possibly stuck inside of there, as well as just break down any of the rust or corrosion or anything that is on any of the surfaces. When it comes out, it cleans up great. So these these carb cleaner half gallons or gallons, whatever they are, come with a little basket inside of it, so you can just set the whole carburetor in. A lot of times you can stick some of the other metal pieces in as well, just right in the basket. So a couple taps to seal it. I think about disassembling the PTO carb on camera, but I end up realizing that these screws are fairly stuck. So I give up pretty quick, just soak them in some PV Blaster, but I do take a closer look at this accelerator pump. I'll show it to the camera here in a couple seconds here. So it's pretty neat how it works. There's a line that runs from the bottom into the pump assembly here, and really when you hit your throttle, it shoots a little bit of fuel in ahead of the regular fuel. So that's it. Thanks for watching. This was rebuilding the carburetor at Idiot in Garage CNY. Subscribe, like, and follow me on Instagram. Same Idiot in a Garage CNY. Thanks.